Hi, Soul Fam. A couple of things I'd like to share with you all for this live stream today. I want to share like some news, and then I'd also like to share this story about one of my greatest, biggest epic fails ever. Um, yeah, so we'll start with the news. If you're new to this group, hello, 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 welcome. Thank you for joining Be Your Own Guru community. We've gone through a bit of a refresh with the new year, and I kind of took some time off from this space over the last year because we were really growing, expanding New Earth Magic School. That is a space that I am a co-founder of, and I essentially have programs there for intuitive psychics, divine channels, and healers who want to confidently communicate with the divine and then get really galactic. My specialty areas seem to be around abundance and ascension, and it's kind of the new earth way and dynamics. I've been a divine channel since 2012, and the divine and I like to utilize very robust, very powerful activations, and then I have a host of other cool magic and modality that the divine gives me access to. So I've been hosting this Facebook community for 6 years, and we've always cultivated a very like harmonious, loving space. I do a thorough inventory and to make sure that the group has active members, people like real people, and I never do mass invites. An invite to this group usually comes through conversation, and we just have a very gentle, nurturing, love, reciprocity, family vibe in here. And I love that about it. I have been teaching in a classroom since 2005, and I often see this space, Be Your Own Guru community, kind of its own classroom, fun zone, resource center. So please utilize it as that. Don't be afraid to ask questions about any spiritual nature. And we are in the process of booking guest speakers all throughout the rest of the year. So if you feel inclined to inquire about being a guest speaker, please send me a message. I do vet all of our guest speakers. If you see someone going live in here, I either know them personally, I've worked with them, or they've presented before and I really liked what they were sharing and I've invited them back. Or we've had a conversation about who they are and what they share. This is a no competing zone, so I don't look at anybody as competition. I think this platform and this space is large enough for all of us, and I feel like we're each so diverse that even if Brandy and I taught the exact same subject, we'd each have our own flair, vibe, flavor on it, so I don't really see it as an issue. So as long as you're not harming anyone, like have a seat, sit down, enjoy, make friends. We do like to have you all introduce yourselves. Every Monday there's an opportunity. You can do a post, you can go live, but this is where you can find out where people are from, what their modalities are, what they're excited about. And we've got all kinds of psychics, intuitives, divine channels, healers, artists, activators in this group. So I'm really excited about what's going to be shared. Make sure you pay attention to the theme days. This is the first time I'm actually doing theme days, which presented a bit of a challenge. Brandy says really exciting and it's so empowering and co-creative. Yeah, that's the vibe. And I'm really proud of that. One of the other things that I'm super excellent at coinciding with bringing people together is I love our community being global. So you are encouraged to connect and network and trade info and share information and work together. Super, super encouraged to do that. But please understand, if you are from somewhere other than the US and you're in this community and you want to participate in the theme days, please know that we are going to be observing the themes as they are in the US. It's the only way I could keep that part of things straight. And like I said, it's my first time experimenting with the theme days in here. Maybe we'll love it, maybe it'll work out, maybe it won't. I'm not afraid to try new things and experiment, and we'll decide if we love it or not. But I just thought it would give people an idea what to anticipate each day. So I'm live streaming for Talk to Me Tuesday, and Tuesdays are more for like interviews and soul connections and like chats. So I brought a story with you. I tend to be a bit of a storyteller, and I've spent a substantial amount of time in my life learning things the hard way. And so what I love to do is cherry pick the gems and the juicy fruit from all those situations, and it's fueled my curriculum over the years, and it's really allowed people for me to connect and bond with people, because one thing we for sure have in common is typically our mistakes. And I have sat with the story I'm going to tell you long enough that it's not trauma bonding. I promise you're going to get some beautiful gems from this story. It's definitely in my hindsight, in my rear view, and I don't have any I have great reverence for this story now and what it taught me. So if you are familiar in our Facebook group, make sure you say hey and drop me some love so I could blow you some kisses and send out sweet hugs. And if you're new, thank you for joining. And just let me know if you're feeling pulsed, but definitely take a look around. Our events tab is a very, very beautiful place to scope things out. Everyone who a guest presenter that goes live will have an event with all of the ways that you can connect with them or follow up with them, or how they're being of service out in the world. So without further ado, I'm going to dive into this story. I am in a gift-giving mood today. Tomorrow is my birthday. So see this story also as a love gift from my heart. And if you stay tuned to the end of the story, I've got a little bit of I got another invitation with a bit of a gift kiss on it if it's your vibe. So here's the story about my most epic failure and what I learned from it. In 2017, I had this beautiful and adoring English boyfriend, and he was coming over to visit. He was coming to the United States to visit, and I have 3 sons, and at the time, 2 of them were teenagers, and 1 of them was an adult. And I love travel. Travel is like almost like romance codes for me. And I had designed this amazing road trip for my boyfriend to go and 2 of my boys across the US, leaving Florida over to Colorado to visit my oldest son, who's in the Air Force over there. And I received a download from Archangel Michael that said, why don't you stop in Kansas City halfway through the trip and teach a workshop? And at the time, the workshop that I was teaching was empath empowerment. I loved this idea. I loved the idea of traveling and teaching workshops. And so Archangel Michael guided us, because my boyfriend at the time was very techie, guided us to do Facebook ads, and we set up this workshop in Kansas City. I can't remember if it was supposed to be a 1 or a 2 day workshop. But we created the event on Facebook, and there was a ton of interest. We booked the space, we found the space, booked the space, loved the people, signed the contract, set everything up. And I launched Facebook ads, and this was all on a very tight timeline. It was like on a 2-week or so turnaround timeline, and we invested in Facebook ads. This space held about 15 to 20 people, but I had like 78 people respond that they were interested in coming to the workshop series. So I'm like imagining sold out, line across the corner, like this thing's a hit. And we pack up the old, caravan with the kids in it, and we head across the US for me to teach this workshop and make our way to Colorado. And we get to Kansas City to teach the workshop, and nobody's there. Not one soul who had responded was there. It was me, my boyfriend, and the owners of the space. Not one person. And this has never happened to me before in my life. Being a divine channel, most of my classes are full, workshops are full, people participate, people are anticipating it, they're excited about it. Never have I ever shown up to an event and no one be there. And I was just shook, like completely unsettled, completely undone. Not only did I feel humiliated and embarrassed in front of my boyfriend and my two sons, but I had put a lot of weight into this workshop, Kansas City workshop, working out to pretty much fund the rest of our trip. That's how I intended to finance this family vacation. And with no one being there, that left us in a horrible, horrible state. Totally beside myself, Brandy. So I very ashamedly packed up my workshop. The people that hosted the space that allowed us to rent it out, they were kind enough to return the money to me, which they didn't have to do. And we kind of like hobbled our way to a hotel where I commenced to continue to lose my mind, and finally sat down to dinner with my international boyfriend and my two boys, and basically said, I'm not sure how I'm going to get us through this trip, because I had everything riding on this. Now, listening to the story, you can probably tell I didn't have a lot of common sense around this. Like, when I look back on it, I'm really embarrassed. But because I was a divine channel, and because I was specifically told by Archangel Michael to book this trip, schedule this workshop, go to Kansas City, I thought 99.9% all of these things were going to work out. So as you can imagine, my faith devastated, and I am just quite angry with the divine, because I feel like I was set up and I failed, like, miserably. It was humiliating, and it ended up being a really hard time for like the next month from there. My oldest son chewed me out, very in the Air Force, and surely has his life better together than his mom at that point. He was yelling at me. My other two kids I had to borrow money from just to make it through that whole thing. Like, it was a mess. My boyfriend had to borrow money from his dad. Like, worst conditions imaginable for me. And that was 7 years ago. And I really had to do a thorough inventory of like, how the fuck did I get in this situation? How did I get here? And what I realized through many conversations with the divine, when I was willing to speak to them again, was I was riding too much of my hopes, plans, and dreams on their guidance. And I wasn't actually using common sense. I wasn't being discerning. And out of the 78 souls who responded going to my workshop, I did not have any of them actually pay for it, which that would have possibly, changed things, or at least shown me that this was not lining up. I put all of my trust and faith in an outside source, a being outside of myself. And the more we do that, the less control we have over a situation. So I learned about later magical thinking. And as much as I love being magical and I love co-creating with the divine, there is almost like this mental virus, and I've seen it in the clients that I mentor, called magical thinking. And it can really disrupt your files when you are trying to put logic and order. And don't get me wrong, I'm not wanting to like bust your faith bubbles. But when we're making big, huge plans in our lives, or in this case, a workshop halfway across the country, it's really important, my beliefs and standards now, it's really important to have solidified those plans and not just have them in the hope and faith category. Recently, I got visited. My family and I call this landmark event. We just call it Kansas City. And recently, we had the opportunity to possibly move into a house that's like 3 times the size of where we're living now. And things were looking really good, and it was looking really possible. And my husband and I made this list of, like, when we accomplish these 2, 3 things, we'll know that we're, financially able and ready to move into that place that's much larger and spacious and luxurious and comes with all these amenities. And we got halfway down the 3-point list, and more stuff got added on, and more stuff got added on. And we started adding in, like, well, taxes are coming in April. And as an entrepreneur, I'm looking at about probably $10,000 in taxes that I'm going to have due in April. And we're looking at how much it costs to break the lease and furnish a much bigger place. And we're looking at all these numbers. And at first, when we thought we were going to launch into this move, we're like, we might need like $20,000 for moving. And then it turned into 50. And I kind of got to the point where I looked at my husband and I said, this is feeling a little too Kansas City for me. Like, it doesn't feel locked in. It doesn't actually feel ready. It doesn't feel solidified, and it doesn't feel like we're there yet. And so because of that trip and that epic fail, I now have a very solid way to discern when the time is right to do something like this. And I'm really grateful for that. And that was the lesson. That was the message that I got from Archangel Michael when I went back to him and I kind of chewed him out for kind of setting me up on this. He said that I had been in a pattern of making decisions in my life of kind of like jumping or leaping before I was actually ready for it. And me having a fall or a fail, I would get more out of that than them constantly telling me yes, no, maybe, go, flow. And so it really has locked in better traction for me, where I can actually like scale and improve my life and not have any more embarrassing epic falls or failures. So I thought I would share that with you. If you feel like you have been a victim of magical thinking, here's your compensation. You can stop doing this in your life and you can still be magical. It's taking those measured steps and having the evidence or having it solidified, having that show up before you go all in. My husband and I were joking when we made the decision to hold off on the house. We were talking about like the percentage. If you have like 80% that you're relying on hope and faith and only 20% manifested or locked in, you might be manifesting a Kansas City. So it is a joke in our family, in our house now, and we are able to laugh about it. But I'm telling you, I have really slurped the juice from the vine on this experience. So take it into your heart, feel it out, see if it resonates for you. I don't think I'm an island when it comes to this stuff. Like I said before, I feel like we all go through similar experiences and have similar patterns. So hopefully this share hits you right in the feels today. And as far as my gift giving, if you've stayed on and you've tuned in for this, I would like to share a sacred invitation with you. Every month, I host a space called Spirit Circles for divine channels. To kind of sit and receive very high voltage, high powered activations. They receive guidance from me, but everybody channels messages from the divine, not just me, when I hold these very high vibrational circles. It's always on the last Saturday of every month. It can last up to 2 hours, but the divine asked me, to make what I'm sharing, the theme of what I'm sharing in this month's Spirit Circle call. They've asked me to let everyone know, we're going to be sharing activations for big gifts and big surprises. So if you feel like you need some energy medicine around those two things, or would love to have more gifts and surprises show up in your life, in your field, in your reality, you might want to share space with us. And my tickets to join this very safe and sacred spirit circle this month, they are buy one, get one. So you can either bring a friend or attend both March and April. So if any of those opportunities feel like your idea of a good time, you like to stretch your divine channel or psychic muscles, this is a really great place, safe space to do that. It all happens on Zoom. The women are from all over the globe, and we tune in, we connect, and we get very Wi-Fi connected and very activated by the divine. So big gifts and surprises, and if you're interested, you can either bring a friend for free or attend 2 months for the price of one. And these are the gifts I'm giving to celebrate my birthday. So wherever you are, I hope you're having a phenomenal day. Please keep your notifications on so you can see the beautiful, amazing, incredible, and precious faces that are going to be popping up in our live stream. You may want to turn your notifications on so you know who's going and when, and check out that events tab. Thank you so much for being a member and a beautiful part of our community. I look forward to learning more about you. Take care. Talk to you soon. Bye. Thank you so much for checking out this video today. Be sure to like the video, share, subscribe to my channel. And if you really had a wonderful experience on this video, I invite you to share your reflections in the comments section. I love reading those. And if you would like to explore some more of my juicy magic and medicine, please visit my website at newearthmagicschool.com and register for my email list. I've got some things that you're going to love exploring. And if you would like to join our wonderful safe space on Facebook, we have a beautiful community called Be Your Own Guru. Until next time, bye-bye.